Hey everyone, it's Lisa Purdy, and I am back to join you for reading Genesis chapter 5 today. We've been trying to do something a little different by reading the Bible to you each day on YouTube to help bring forth that desire to want to read the Word every day. There are other apps out there that do this as well, but just trying to be more personable with you and stuff. So here we go. This is the book which was recorded the history of the generations of the offspring of Adam. So when God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. He created them male and female and blessed them and named them both Adam, which is man at the time they were created. When Adam had lived 130 years, he had a son in his own likeness after his image, and he named him Seth. After he had Seth, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. So altogether, Adam lived 930 years and he died. When Seth was 105 years old, Enosh was born. Seth lived after the birth of Enosh 807 years and had other sons and daughters. So Seth lived 912 years and he died. When Enosh was 90 years old, Kenan was born to him. Enosh lived after the birth of Kenan 815 years and had other sons and daughters. So Enosh lived 905 years and then he died. When Kenan was 70 years old, Mahalaleel was born. Kenan lived after the birth of Mahalaleel 840 years and had other sons and daughters. So Kenan lived 910 years and he died. When Mahalaleel was 65 years old, Jared was born. Mahalaleel lived after the birth of Jared 830 years and had other sons and daughters. So Mahalaleel lived 895 years and he died. When Jared was 162 years old, Enoch was born. Jared lived after the birth of Enoch 800 years and had other sons and daughters. So Jared lived 962 years and he died. When Enoch was 65 years old, Methuselah was born. Enoch walked in habitual fellowship with God after the birth of Methuselah 300 years and had other sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked in habitual fellowship with God, and he was not, for God took him home with him. When Methuselah was 187 years old, Lamech was born to him. Methuselah lived after the birth of Lamech 782 years and had other sons and daughters. So Methuselah lived 969 years and he died. When Lamech was 182 years old, a son was born. He named him Noah, saying, "This one shall bring us relief and comfort from our work and the grievous toil of our hands due to the ground being cursed by the Lord." Lamech lived after the birth of Noah 595 years and had other sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years and he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. A couple things here. You will notice in the Bible it's very important to the Jewish people to know the lineage of each of their, like the historic record of all their ancestors. It comes into play in a lot of ways. It's also interesting that this is the first encounter that we hear where Enoch, who walked with God, he's noticed as walking with God in here, but then he was not, and God took him, so he didn't die, which is interesting because this happens a couple of times in the Bible. Also, we notice Lamech, so he was 777 years old when he died, and the numbers in the Jewish culture mean very significant things, and 7 I believe is perfect, and he had 3 of those, so 777. I don't know the details, but I know that it was prophesied about Noah and that the end of time would happen. And so Lamech, like, can you imagine? He was like living knowing that when he died that something was going to happen to the world. And so, like I've heard pastors talk about like, well, when Noah was a kid, they probably were trying to like, or maybe it was Lamech, like they were trying to make sure that he was safe and not hurt because they knew if something happened to him, then the end of the world was coming. I think it has to do with his name and what it means. So it's just interesting. And like, but yet Lamech named Noah knowing that he would bring relief to the earth. And if you remember, that's when the flood came. And it didn't look the way they thought. It looked different than what they expected. So anyway, just some little tips, things when you read, when you notice some of these things, you should look into it some more. So obviously at this platform, it's not the easiest for me to go and start diving into those things alongside with you at this moment, but there are a couple of things that are kind of interesting. Their names are always interesting. You know, the mention of lots of sons and daughters, but only certain names are brought up. So that's kind of cool too, and kind of dig into that as well. So hopefully this is helpful to you. And if you have any questions, let me know, but I'll see you next time.